Hi everyone, ಶರಣು ಶರಣಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು. So this is Sri Basa Public School Ilkal. So today we will discuss Physics chapter 9th, that is force and laws of motion. Okay, my dear students, heartily welcome. Now I will give introduction about force and laws of motion. Okay, in the previous chapter we described the motion of an object along a straight line in the terms of its position, velocity and acceleration. We also saw that such a motion can be uniform or non-uniform in the previous chapter. So here a ball on the ground, one example I am giving here, a ball on the ground when given a small hit does not move forever. Such observations suggest that rest is the natural state of an object. Correct? So you hit the very small hitting on a ball, that ball does not move forever, so afterward it come to the rest. So this is, we can say that, natural state of an object. This remind the belief until Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton developed an entirely different approach to understand motion. Okay, so in our daily life we observe that some effort is required to put a stationary object into motion. Yes, stationary is nothing but rest of the object can be we are changing into the motion, or the movement of the object can be we can make it into stop or rest. Okay, we ordinarily experience this as a muscular effort and say that we must push or hit or pull on an object to change its state of motion. Clear? The concept of force is based on this push or hit or pull, so we can get it changes. So let us know, we will discuss about force. So in the next slide. Okay, this is the first slide of this chapter. That chapter name is already heard, that is nothing but force and laws of motion. The first point of this chapter is force. What do you mean by force? So you are saying that commonly the push or the pull is known as force. Clear? Here I am giving the definition of force. Force is an external effort. This is very important. Force is an external effort which may move a body. So when you are applying the force, when you are applying the external force to the object can be changed their position, that is may move a body at rest. Okay, or stop a moving body if the movement of the object, or if the object is in the moving. So when you apply force to the opposite direction, the object can be stopped, or change the speed of a moving body, or change the direction of a moving body, or change the shape and the size of a body. So this is the definition of force, or you can remember very easy definition, the push or the pull of an object is known as force. Okay, so I think this is clear. Now we are discussing in this point only, that is effects of force. total 5 effects are there. So, we are discussing along with the example one by one. First one, force can move a body at rest. Now, keep a ball on the ground, you may hit, the ball can be moving. Why it can be moving? Because you are applied the force. You are applied the external force. That object before it was in the rest. Now, when you are applied the force, the object can be moved. Okay, this is the one effect. Second one is force can stop a moving body. So, same example you take. So, you are here two students are standing opposite direction. One student is hit the ball is moving forever. Then the opposite boy or student is applied the force, then the ball can be stopped. Already you played all these type of the games in our school ground. Third point is force can change the speed of a moving body. See, when you roll the ball on the ground by applying more force, the ball is moving very speed. Is it up to the some line is crossed, means we are saying that within a few minutes the ball can be changed across the ball because of you applied the force. The applied force can change the speed of a moving body. Then it is one direction, and opposite to that applied force is more, the object is moving in the very speed, then opposite of the any one boy is applied the force, so the speed can be changes. Is it clear? Fine. So, next fourth one, force can change the direction of a moving body. Moving body. So, now you are playing carom. So, in the carom we are using that striker and pawns. So, when you apply force to the striker, that applied force is hit on the pawns, that pawns will be changes the different direction, and a few of the pawns are coin fall in the pocket, and others they are striking on the carom and come to that other direction. Clear? Okay. So, fifth one is force can change the shape and size of a body. How it can be changes? So, now you take floor, any floor, jowar floor or wheat floor. So, you are making that duff and applying the force. So, then you are making chapati, that time is changing the shape, and you are taken very small ball of that floor and changing the size also. So, many examples are there, force can be change the shape and size of the body. So, I think so here you are understood effects of force and that force definition. So, next we go for another slide, that is balanced and unbalanced forces. Which slide you are observing here? Balanced and unbalanced forces. So, what do you mean by balanced force? First, I will give example, you can understand very easily. So, we kept that on the table one brick or one box, which one is available in the classroom. And here two students are standing opposite to that box or brick, applying same force in both the direction. That box doesn't change their position, the brick doesn't change their position. So, that where we kept and that box and brick, so it is same in position. So, I think here, or you thought that, so here applying both the students in both the direction is same is there. That's why or equal is there. That's why the brick and the box does not change the position. So from this example, I think you understood about the balanced force. So now we go for a definition. If two forces act on a body in opposite direction, and if both the forces are equal, then the resultant force acting on the body is 0. Such forces are called balanced force. Okay, so here one X student is standing and another side Y student is standing. Both these two students are applying the force are equal, so that result is totally 0. So now you see here, balanced forces cannot change the state of rest or motion of a body. So what is the equation here? F1 is equal to F2 or F2 is equal to F1. So just you see that figure brick, then both the line are equal, F1 and F2. So is it clear, my dear students? Okay, fine. So the second one is unbalanced forces. If we go through the one example, that same box or brick keep on the table between the two students. So any one students apply greater the force than the other, so it will go or it will move in that direction only. Okay, it is very simple example. Okay, so now we will discuss the definition of unbalanced forces. If two forces act on a body in opposite direction, clear? And if one force is greater than the other, then the resultant force is not equal to 0. So in the before is equal to the 0 because both the forces are equal. Here, if one force is greater than the other, then the resultant force is not equal to 0. Such forces are called unbalanced forces. Okay, unbalanced forces changes the state of rest or the motion of the body. Here we found that equation F1 is greater than F2, otherwise F2 greater than the F1. So depending upon the force between the two forces. Okay, so here F1 is greater. Just you observe in the figure, the line more is there, means his force is greater than the F2. F1 is greater than the F2. So is it clear, my dear students? Okay, fine. So for example, one more unbalanced forces means in our annual sport meet, parents are joining in the tug of war. So which group of the team parents having the more force, in that direction only moving. So this is, we can say that unbalanced forces. Clear? Okay, fine. So next slide we will observe, that is force of friction. See, force of friction is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. So in the winter season, in our classroom, many students are rubbing your palms in both the direction, opposite direction. So this applying forces in the opposite direction of the palms, we can get it heat, warm, hot of the palms. Then you are put on your cheeks, on your eyes, we can get it warm. So why these two palms get into warm or heat? Because of friction. Clear? Okay. So now once again I will say force of friction is the force which opposes the motion of an object over a surface. So we are discussing one example wise. First example, a ball rolling on the ground gradually slows down and comes to a stop due to force of friction. So we are applied the force to that ball, it will move on the ground. After few minutes or after the few seconds, the ball will be stopped because of the opposite direction. One more force is applying to the ball. So which one is the opposite force? That is the ground. Ball is moving one direction, ground is applying the force in another opposite direction. See here in the figure given motion and friction, pushing on the ground. Okay. If we stop the pedaling a bicycle, is it moving fast? No. It gradually slows down and comes to a stop due to force of friction. So the friction takes place between the tires of the wheel and road. So the road is applying the opposite direction of the force and wheel is moving in one direction. So here two forces are applying to the opposite direction. So gradually the bicycle will be slowed down. Okay, is it clear, my dear students? Very good. So I think you are very happy. So one more point we will discussing from the force of friction. An object with a uniform motion will continue to move with a uniform motion if the force acting on it, so pushing force and frictional force, are balanced. So this is a very important aspect is there. So if the object is moving in continuously in the uniform, why that object is moving in the uniform? Because the pushing force and frictional force are in the equal or in the balanced. So the object is moving in the uniform motion. For example, you did not stop that pedaling of the bicycle. So you are moving in the continuously and maintaining the equal distance and equal interval of the time. So we can say that is the uniform motion, because the pushing force is equal to the frictional force, then frictional force is equal to the pushing force. That is nothing but balanced force or uniform. Okay, fine. If an unbalanced force acts on the moving body, then its speed or direction of motion changes. See, because pushing force will be more is there and frictional force is more than pushing force. So then that time it takes that unbalance or unequal. So unequal between the pushing force and frictional force. So which type of the force takes place here? Unbalanced force. So I think you are understanding very easily, my dears. Okay, fine. If the unbalanced force is removed, then it will continue to move with the speed it had acquired till then. So if unbalanced force is removed means what here? Between the pushing force and frictional force, so any one is stopped, then the object is in the continue, that is maintaining the speed. So it had acquired till then. So here we have discussed about the force of friction. So remaining points we will discussing in the next class. So Sharanu Sharanartigalu.